How's it going, everyone? So I just talked to myself to an empty screen because, quite frankly, I didn't have my mic turned on. So I'm going to say this again. Hamsters vs. Hippos, super excited. The new game just came in. Here we are. And I'm going to do an opening live. I know some other people have already received their inventory. They've had it for actually a couple weeks now. The U.S. backers, Canadian backers now, we're going to start shipping out tomorrow. So your people here in Canada are going to start getting this game within the next couple of days. The U.K., your games are the same thing, are going to be shipping any day now. They're in the hands of ShipQuest, and they're going through that inventory now as we speak. So let's get to a two-shot, shall we? All right. Don't mind the dog in the background there. All right, so here we are, Hamsters versus Hippos. I am going to, I don't want to use an X-Acto knife, so I'm going to use this other little Apple piece they use to put your SIM card in your phone. That's what we're going to use. So I can open this without destroying it. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm excited! Ah! I have to dump water on my new game. For those who've been following the channel and our podcast, we finished planting evidence. Those have actually gone to, they've already been manufactured and assembled. So we're just waiting now for them to be picked up from the factory after the Chinese holiday. So in about a week and a half, those will be picked up and thrown on boats. And you never know. Our goal is to try to get them out before Christmas. It's going to be tight, but not impossible. All right, so first and foremost, artwork looks fantastic. This is one of my biggest pet peeves is when they don't put the lid on the correct way, when they have the lid turned the other way. So when you flip it over like this is upside down. So we made sure we spend some time talking about that with the factory. And, of course, they assembled it properly, which is good. And I had to remind them that on planting evidence as well. We're also working on another game called Cities of Venus. I would encourage you to follow along. If you go to Tin Robot Games, you'll see a link to Cities of Venus. I'll actually probably put one in the show notes here as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll put a link to that page. Sign up, give us a follow. We're going to launch that in March, but now we're starting the kind of pre-work, pre-campaign, and building up the audience and getting it to a level that we know will then allow us to fund. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take our time, make sure we do it properly, but we need your help by following that campaign. All right, without further ado, the lid. I love this. This is one of my favorite parts of actually the campaign. This is one of our stretch goals, is printing on the inside lid. And these are, you're the hippo now looking up at the surface of the pond, and the hamsters are looking down at you, which I think is, it just makes me smile, brings me joy. One thing we did in this game, probably went a little overzealous, but we have like 5 languages, 6 languages in this box. And the reason we put them all in the box is there was issues with the last game we had where certain booklets for some languages didn't go to the right people, and the factory got mixed up. In some cases, they actually put the wrong language in the box. So we said, you know what, just put all languages in the box, and people can sort through what they want to use or not. They can recycle the rest. But nice instructions for each of the different languages, which is awesome. And those look like they're in great shape. Fantastical. Very nice, very nice. This one is this is English at the bottom. Underneath there, we have, there we are. So we made a last minute change to the insert because what was happening is the way it was oriented. The tiles were banging into the corner of the player boards, the way they were situated, and they were just getting bent and munched up, and that doesn't really make for a nice play experience when your pieces are all mangled. So we redesigned the insert at the last second. So now you've got the bowl underneath, your player boards nest in this little groove right here. You put your booklets on top, and away you go. Went extra thick on the tokens, and we differentiated the color because before they were too close in color. That was one of the complaints. So this is what we did when we went to production. Darker color on the Blue Lotus, and they're a lot thicker, so they're easier to pick up. The colors of the meeples themselves, we had people vote on this. So these were the top colors, so don't get mad at me. This is what the backers voted on in terms of people's favorite colors. Yes, if there's colorblind issues out there, you're going to have trouble with the green and the blue. We mentioned that with our backers, but they still said we want green and blue options because we're not always going to play with 6 players. And some people's favorite meeple is either green and others' favorites is blue. So we got one of each. What's cool on the back of these guys is we also have little hamster bums, which is another upgrade we did. So printing on the front and then printing on the back. So a different image for both, which worked out really well. I'll get that guy later. Tiles themselves, it turned out really well. So they're sleeved like this, basically just for transport. So when they're banging around between leaving China and arriving here, they don't get mangled. You know, the odd time you might have one that something happens to, but for the most part, this keeps them nice and clean. And this allows you to then open them when they arrive, and then going forward, you store them in a little pocket there, and they're nice and safe and well taken care of, and no issues. But certainly for the initial transportation, you need to have these tiles wrapped up. So those are all our tiles. You can see the different images. These turned out really well. Really well. Wow. So I'll put that in there. Now, if you have received your game, any issues, please send me a DM and we will make it right. All right. So again, we want people to love this game as much as we loved making it, and that involves correcting any issues. I've only heard from 2 people so far that had their game damaged in transportation, and you know, sometimes it happens. I know we use Fun Again in the States, and they wrap things with the utmost care. So we know it's usually not an issue at the distribution house. It's usually en route. You have maybe an angry person delivering it or whatever, and they mangle the game before it gets to your doorstep. We do everything we can to prevent that, but you never know. Every now and then you get 1 or 2 where that happens. So I'm super pleased with how this turned out. I am really, really pleased how this turned out. This is awesome. I couldn't be happier. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into this. I want to give a shout out to James Freeman, the developer or the designer on this game. This is the first co-design game that we've done as a company, and you know, it was cool. It was a cool process to go through, and I know James is really excited to see his first published game on shelf, which is awesome. Some of the retailers that back this, they'll start getting their games in the next few weeks as well. So I think you'll probably see this on some store shelves, probably your local FLG stores, for Christmas. So some people have an opportunity to get this before Christmas, or if they back the game, they can then give it to someone they love, or maybe just play it over the holidays. But couldn't be happier with the way that turned out. Once again, I want to thank all of the backers that were involved in helping us make this game a reality. You truly are why we do this. It is an immense responsibility, quite frankly, to make sure that, you know, when people are putting their trust in you, that you're returning that with good quality games, good quality production, and hitting your timelines. This one here was tight, obviously, with all the hiccups that we had along the way with the UK. We had strikes that were going on that was stopping the transportation there. We had a boat that got delayed on the ocean for Canada. So September was our objective. Looks like we're going to be just 5 days shy of that for delivering this in the UK and Canada. So I still call that on time. There's some games that I'm still waiting for that are 2 years late. So I think 1 week people will give me some, they'll cut me some slack on that one. But again, thank you so much, everyone, for backing us, and all the best. And please look for the link down below and follow us for our, go to the link I'm going to give you for our Kickstarter campaign page. Click the follow this campaign button. It really helps us in our algorithms. I really appreciate it. All the best. Take care. Cheers. This has been an episode of the Board Game Binge podcast, hosted by James Staley, produced by James Staley and Mike Bruner, with original music by Nick Smith. If you would like to watch these interviews live, simply subscribe to our YouTube channel, Board Game Binge, and you'll get access to live interviews, giveaways, and interesting board game content from across the industry. I can't wait for you to join us. See you next time.